At the recording right now. Once again, this is Estockoptiontrading.com's introduction to options trading, and it is Monday, August the 10th, 2015. My name is Hugh, the head trainer for Estockoptiontrading.com, and just want to welcome everybody right now. And while we're waiting, still a lot of people joining us right here. Welcome everybody from literally around the world, all walks of life, all demographics. And good to have you all here. So, gonna just give them a second here. While we're waiting for the folks to join us here, I just want to mention a couple things. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, this is an interactive session. All right, by that I mean we're gonna, go back and forth. All right, I'm gonna talk, and you're also gonna talk. But instead of opening up the microphones to everybody and getting a lot of background noise and feedback and whatnot, please use the questions box. You'll find a little questions box icon on your GoToWebinar dashboard. So please just use that, open that up. I'm the only one that's going to see the comments. So with that in mind, of course, you can say whatever you want, right? And I'll try and address them all, time willing, of course. Also, what else I want to tell you about that? Oh, the other thing is this. Sometimes I get very passionate about what I talk about. I love this stuff, as you can probably gather, for those of you who've been here before. So if you find that I speak too fast or talk about something that perhaps you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. A couple things you can do there. First of all, maybe you just mention in the comments box that I'm talking too fast, or put in the questions box and to maybe slow down. Or if I'm talking about something that you don't understand, just tell me, and I'll try and rephrase it or explain it further in a different way. All right, that's kind of the idea behind it. So, and the other thing is this: if you really don't understand what I'm talking about, please don't worry about it, because right now this is just an introductory session. So there might be some technical things that I might say. And if that is the case, you're not going to miss anything if you don't understand, right? In fact, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick poll while people are still joining us. I'm going to just run this poll here just to find out what your options trading experience is. This gives me an idea as to where to go with the conversation here tonight. I certainly don't want to get into anything that is going to be, over your heads. Likewise, if you're all experienced, then I don't want to speak, sort of very at an elementary level as well, because I can direct the conversation in any which way. So, and it's probably going to be the case. It's probably going to be well balanced among the three options that you have here. And I'm just going to leave this on for about another 30 seconds or so. Please, by all means, answer the question here, folks. Right? Because this, the more you answer, the better idea I've got as to who I'm talking about, or rather who I'm talking to. Very important to interact this way. And again, this is just for our sort of internal, records type of thing, or my own information, so I know which way to go. And I don't want to, like I say, mention, talk about things that you don't understand. Okay. Heck, I don't even understand half the stuff I talk about. Little humor there, folks. Little humor, but hey, if I can make money, you can. You can definitely make money. Definitely. All right, another 10 seconds. We'll open this up. If you haven't voted, folks, please vote. It's your civic duty. Come on. All right, get warmed up. Election's coming along, right? Hey, you see Donald Trump lately? Oh, this guy's amazing. Wow, I get a feeling he's got a good shot at winning here. So anyway, all right, another 10 seconds. We'll just wrap it up here, folks. Get your votes in here, and let's get everybody online here. All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, got the last one in there. All right, we're gonna close the polls right now, folks. And just taking a look at it, I see we actually have a very good mix. All right, 25% none, very little just interested, and about 50-some% have some, and the rest are experienced. So it's a good mix with most people putting themselves right smack dab in the middle, and that's a good place to be. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, once again, if you do not understand what I'm saying, I'm not going to speak so technically, all right? You're not going to miss anything. Let's put it that way. You're not going to miss anything. All right. Once again, I'm the head trainer, and let's get started. It's about lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about lifestyle, all right? And I don't care what you do to get to where you want to go, but that's really what it's all about, because that's really what I want to do. I want to have a good lifestyle. No, let me rephrase that. I want to have a great lifestyle. Okay, and I got to tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying my life now more than I ever have. I'm 60 years old. I live in Western New York, Buffalo, Niagara Falls area. Now, it's not because of choice. I like it here, actually. The summer is very beautiful. In the winter, okay, but I've got an elderly mother I take care of. That does not preclude me from traveling as much as I want. So I do take some trips. In fact, as a matter of fact, at the end of this month, we're going down to Florida. My family's getting down there for a couple of weeks, just kind of getting together and getting everybody from all over the place together. And I'll probably fly down there for a few days. On the way back, my wife's stopping at the University of Georgia just for some kind of a reunion, something they're doing over there. So I might fly down there for that. We've got a cruise coming up. A lot of vacations when you can do what you want to do and you can actually take the time off and do the things that you want to do. Life's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I can pop over to New York City whenever I want, say hi to Bob, take him out for dinner. He takes me out for dinner. It's all about lifestyle, folks. Whatever that is, whatever you want to do, you can actually do it. Okay, that's really what this is all about. Now, my question to you is this. Now, we do it through trading stock options. Now, whether you do it through, whatever means you find to, satisfy the lifestyle that you want, all right, develop the lifestyle that you want, whatever it is. But we found, or at least I found, that trading stock options is the way to go. Now, in my travels here, I find that, of course, obviously I run into a lot of people who trade the stock market, and a lot of people want to know things. So my question to you is this. Do you want to learn everything about the stock market? Are you interested in all the various trading strategies out there? How about those spreads? Do they appeal to you? Or do you just want to learn how to make money? Now, a little bit of a background from me, about me, I should say. But first, I want to tell you something. Through it all, and I'll tell you how I got here, all right, from where I was, all right, in just a minute. But through it all, and I'm going to quickly jump to the chase here, we developed a system that trades one great stock, working, if you want to call it that, 1 hour a day, that typically earns 5 to 10% per day or per trade. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit. First, I want to tell you about what we're going to do here tonight. I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction and a little bit of a background, how we got here, what we do. I'm just going to tell you briefly what we do, how you can benefit as well. All right. And then after that, that will be the end of the formal part of the conversation. And then I'm going to get into the informal stuff. And this is where I'm going to answer a lot of the questions, and we're going to get into some juicy stuff. Maybe I can show you some trading plans, different things. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to keep you here all night. But by the way, it is recorded, so you're going to get the recording, and you can also pass that on to your friends and family and neighbors and relatives and whatnot. So, or view it again if you so feel. Okay. So this is what we're going to do here. For a little bit of a background, I come from an internal audit background. I used to be an internal auditor for an insurance company, a major insurance company, and it was pretty good. But I, like the good, salaried employee, I would give a lot of my money over to my financial guru to invest for my retirement. Excuse me. I almost, I cringe when I think of that, my retirement. And oddly enough, all right, as an internal auditor, you think that I would have been on top of that. But you know what they say, the dentist's kids got the worst teeth? That was kind of the way it was with me. I would get these statements from my financial guru periodically, but I never bothered to open them up. In my mind, I thought, well, I worked all day today. I'll get to those later. Later never came. At some point, I did open it up, and I realized how little I had, how much money I had, how little money I had. That wasn't very good. In fact, it was so devastating, I called him up right away and said, Mike, what's going on here? Well, it's the long run. It's this, it's that. You should average down by now, by all this other junk they gave me. Does this sound familiar? I didn't buy it. I figured that even though my poultry sum, which I can't remember now what it was, but it was down about half of my initial investment. And I found that really hard to take because I got to tell you, I worked pretty hard for my money. All right. And I invested, dutifully, right? It was my duty, right? and I was very taken aback. As a matter of fact, I was very angry, frustrated. I was mad as hell. I don't mind telling you. And I promptly ended the relationship with my financial guru and just had him cut me a check for whatever I had left and told him I obviously have to learn how to do this myself. He had no vested interest in my account. Number one, he was promoting the whatever the products, that's what they call them, the products of the day were from his end. And obviously, maybe my account wasn't big enough. I don't know. I don't know the market, whatever it was. I did not entrust him to take care of my financial future. I had to take control, and that's what it is. It's about taking control. Nobody is ever going to hand off control to you. They're not going to say, hey, Joe, you can be in control now. No. Joe, if you want control, you have to go and take it. Okay, that's the way it works. Anyway, long story short, I had endeavored to learn the stuff myself. I took a number of courses, all the courses. I started trading equities. I dabbled in futures, forex, right, currency exchange. I looked at options. I kept coming back to different things like that. Options I kept coming back to. And I learned all these various strategies. This is just some of the stuff. Obviously, a lot of spreads. Very confusing. And more importantly, I'd yet to find somebody who was doing so incredibly well with spreads that I could really latch onto and sort of follow them. I just didn't find it. Instead, what I'd done was I determined that, listen, every day seems stocks go up, they go down. Okay, what is so hard about buying low and selling a little bit higher? Long story short, and I'm going to cut to the chase here, I developed what I call my bread and butter strategy. Every day I go in, make a little bit of money, get out. Go in, make my money, get out. Go in, make my money, get out. Every day, my bread and butter strategy. What do I do? It's a very focused strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Very focused indeed. With me, you're not going to learn about all those strategies. You're never going to learn about spreads. Nothing going naked. It's not a way we trade as far as clothes go. It's a way of trading where you're exposed. You're never going to learn all about those other crazy things. We don't talk about Bollinger Bands. We don't talk about linear regression. We don't talk about any of that other junk. As a matter of fact, I have a very, very focused, all right, laser beam strategy that I use. I call my bread and butter strategy. And what we do is this. This is it right here in 5 words, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We day trade options on SPY. That is it. That is it. We day trade. We go in, make our money, get out. We trade options. Options are derivatives of an underlying stock. Options, all right, they move as the stock goes, as the underlying stock goes. And I'll tell you a little bit about options in a minute. And we trade SPY. That is an exchange traded fund based on the S&P 500, the top 500 stocks, the basket of the top 500 stocks as far as capitalization is concerned. They are in this basket. Your Googles are there, your Amazons are there, your Microsofts are there, your Cisco's, your Procter & Gamble's, your all the banks, J.P. Morgan, you've got Chevron, Exxon, you got Hershey, you got all the big names are in this basket that is going to go up and down depending on the economy. So we trade SPY. There's a reason we trade SPY. Number one, it's the highest traded stock out there. It's affordable. It has very predictable trading patterns, behavior. It trades till 4:15 every day. And it's also in some terms, very forgiving. So that's all we do. Day trade options on SPY. Now, how do we make money? We trade options. Options used to be at one time that options, all right, were the privy of the select few. They were treated as a hedge against equities. The institutions would trade these. They were not always open to the retail traders, but now they are. In fact, anybody can get in and trade options right now, which makes it the fastest growing instrument out there. Now, why is that? It's because it's great. Options are great. Options, they give you the right but not the obligation to buy a certain stock for a certain price by a certain date. Don't get too bogged down in the terminology here. All right, all you have to know is this: when you get into when you subscribe to a broker, obviously you have to get a broker, and they're going to engage you with a trading platform. And on this platform, and by the way, we like to use TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. On this platform, you're going to have several tabs. One's going to say equities, another one might say futures, another one might say forex or something. Look for the one that says options. When you click on that, you're going to see either one of two things: either a blank page that you're going to scratch your head and say, "What do I do with this?" Or you might see, hundreds of numbers and many columns and rows and very intimidating. Do not let that intimidate you, because if you don't know what you're doing here, all right, you will learn, and it's not that difficult. It truly is not that difficult. All you have to know is that there's a really great market out there for options, and once you learn how to do it, you're going to become very proficient at it. You're going to start making money, okay? And that's what we do, is we teach you all that stuff. Now, you're going to go back and tell your friends, hey, I just saw this webinar on options. And your friends and family, they're all going to be obviously with your good, the best things in mind for you. They're going to go out and tell you and say, hey, run for the hills, because options are dangerous. You are going to lose all your money. Now, they have your best interest in mind, and that's great, okay? God bless them. But I'm going to tell you, I cannot guarantee you're going to make money with options, but I will guarantee you this. If you do not know what you are doing with options, all right, they are right. You will lose your money. You will lose your money. You will lose your money. Get that straight. So you do need to know how to trade options before you do them. Now, you might be a great equity trader, but that doesn't mean you know anything about options. Options are not like equities. Totally different animal. So what we do, folks, is we actually teach you, and we teach you all that stuff. But what we like about options is this. They have limited risk. Now, the things I'm going to tell you, all right, pertain very particular to what I'm saying here. It is not universal to all options or all stocks or anything out there. So everything I talk about is very, very focused on what we do. Don't take little bits and pieces of what I tell you and then go and apply them on something else, like another stock, and then you say, well, it didn't work and the system's no good and this and that. Well, you can lose your shirt, okay, if you take what I tell you right here and apply it on something other than SPY. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. Our options, the way we trade them, you have limited risk. You can only lose what you put into the trade. And we teach you that as to how to grow that account of yours, okay? Limited risk. We are never going to be in what's called naked, in which case you're never going to be exposed, all right, or held liable, for example, to maybe shore up your position with some shares or some more money in your account, because the worst thing you want, the last thing you want is a margin call, especially if you don't know why, okay? That tells you got big problems, so you have to know why. All right, so we have limited risk. The options that we trade are also very inexpensive to buy. Just a very brief, very brief sort of a lesson here. If you see, say, an option that says 80 cents, what that really means here, and maybe I can even bring this up here. I'm going to show you something here. All right, okay, this, I'm just going to bring this up real quick. All right, just here it is. Let's say this particular option, you see it for 71 cents. That does not mean that's all it's going to cost you. Each option controls 100 shares of the underlying stock. So you actually have to multiply this by 100. So if you were to buy one option right here, the 211, I'm not going to get into this too much, but if you were to buy the 211, what's called the call option, calls and puts the call option, it would cost you 71 cents times 100, so it would cost you $71. And by the way, plus a little bit in commissions, but we're not going to talk about commissions here because it's really quite irrelevant. It's immaterial. It's not going to cost that much, maybe a couple bucks or something. So one option, basically, for $71, you will actually be able to control 100 underlying shares of SPY, SPY. That's how cool it is, okay? Now imagine if you put some real money into it, how much you can actually control. So they're inexpensive to buy. You don't have to spend a fortune. By the way, I should tell you, of course, in comparison, what am I talking about here? You are controlling 100 shares of the underlying stock. Well, 100 shares, $210.57 times 100. So by investing $71, you're actually controlling over $21,000 of the underlying shares. I'd say that's pretty good. All right. The upside potential, absolutely huge. And I'll show you that in a little bit. The upside potential is amazing. It's incredible. The trades are also very quick. All right. Unlike maybe perhaps your financial guru that said, well, invest now and in 20, 25, 30 years, you'll have some money for your retirement. You're not going to be waiting that long. Okay. I don't know about you, but I plan to be dead by the time 30 years rolls around. I hope not, but it's not something I'm going to wait around for to cash out, right? I want to use my money long before that. But so the trades are quick. You're in and you're out, and I'll show you in a little bit as to how quickly those trades can be. The trades are highly liquid. Now, typically, all right, SPY trades over 100 million shares a day. Now, the summertime, it's a little bit less. In fact, today, here it is right here, the volume of SPY was only 80 million. So this is actually a very light kind of a trading day. It's only 80 million shares. I can't think of anything that comes close to that. That's the beauty of SPY, okay? So highly liquid, and you know what? It's actually very exciting trading. It's actually a lot of fun. In fact, when the weekends come, I think, oh, darn, the weekend's here. I can't wait till Monday morning again. Okay. Anyway, that's some of the advantages of options. Now, options do have names, and you only have to know two names. You're going to be introduced to what's called call options. They are when you expect the market to rise, you buy a call option. If you expect the market to drop, you buy a put option. Call up, put down. Funny names, I know, but you know what? That's what they're called. All right. Now, what I'm going to do here is move on. Our simple strategy calls for this. Straight calls and puts, you buy first, then you sell, never naked. We are never exposed. All right, that's all. Straight calls and puts, we buy first, sell, and then buy. Straight calls and puts, we buy first, then we sell them. We never sell them first. You can do that. I know when I first learned about this, um, a buddy of mine, Dave, said, "Well, you know, you should go short on whatever company it was he was saying." He's telling me. So what's that? So well, you sell it first, and then you buy it. I said, Dave, what are you smoking? And can I have some? He just laughed, and then he explained it to me. He said, oh, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. All right, moving along. There is a trick to successful long-term wealth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to kid you. There's a trick. It's not a secret. I'll tell you what it is. It's called consistency. Consistency. All right. If you can be consistent, then you can be a winner long term. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to be consistently winners. We don't want to make a lot of money at all the time, but we want to be consistent so that we can actually make some money, over time and build our account. Now, I can't think of a better, more consistent. Actually, there's a few people I can think of, but I'm lucky enough right now to have my good friend Jimmy from Texas down on the line here. And I just noticed that he's online. And Jimmy, I just want to welcome you. Jimmy, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How is everybody?
Great, Jimmy. I just so excited that you're here, and I understand you were on live trading this morning. And once again,
I was online for a little bit. I was. I only needed 20 minutes. I rolled in at 9:20 to hear the pre-market, and then the bell rang at 9:30. And by 20 minutes later, I was in and out of two trades. It was one of the earliest mornings I've had, although I've had a lot of early mornings, but not as early as this one. And I averaged 10.3% on both of those trades. They were both winners. So it's just steady Eddie plugging along. It's typical light summer trading.
10%.
I've been with you now 15 months, and I want to tell you, folks, you're at the right place at the right time, and this is the man to teach it to you, because he taught it to me 15 months ago, and I haven't had a losing month. 90% winners, double-digit returns, and it's been a heck of a good ride, and the training he's going to talk about is absolutely superb. It's golden, folks. So you are at the right place. Excuse me for interrupting and babbling on, but go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Oh wow, that's a hard act to follow, but that's why I wanted to bring Jimmy up here because he'd been doing this now for about 15 months, and Jimmy has taken, I like to say, just about every course out there. I don't know if he's taken every one. Obviously, there's courses that come and go, but he spent a lot of money on other courses.
More money than I paid for my first house. Okay.
Unbelievable, Jimmy. Unbelievable. Well, thank you so much for chiming in, Jimmy, and we'll catch up to you later.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Oh, sorry. Cut him off there. Okay, there you go. All right, thanks, Jimmy. All right, gang, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Consistency, all right? A little bit every day is going to, develop into a very, very nice nest egg for you. This is what happened today, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the chart. This is a 5-minute chart. Now, if you've never seen a chart before, do not worry about it. Don't get intimidated. Don't panic. These are called candlesticks. Every one of these red and green bars. And you can see this is SPY right here, SPY. It's a 5-minute chart. And here's the date today, actually, August the 10th. SPY started out here somewhere down around 209 and change, ran up to 210.63. This thing rose about $1.30 or so, which is about 0.6% if you purchase the equity. So if you had to purchase the stock, you'd have spent about $209 a share, $209 and change for a share, one share. And at the end of the day, perhaps you'd have had, you'd have made $1.30. Okay, that's if you bought it at the low and sold at the high. Now let me show you the underlying option on this particular equity SPY. If you'd have purchased the 210, and again, there's a lot that goes into which one would you purchase and whatever, but you would have purchased this particular option, the 210 call options. You could have made, well, I'll tell you, the option rose from about down here, 71 cents to $1.37. Now, for those of you so inclined, go back and check your charts. I'm sure there's going to be somebody who's going to do that. But you're going to find that this is actually what it was today. I might be off a penny or two, but basically from 71 cents to $1.37, ladies and gentlemen, that option rose 93%. 93%. Actually, let me rephrase this. Options rose a whopping 93%. That's amazing. Now, the reality is this. You could have bought the stock for up 0.6% or the options for 93%. I think the choice is clear. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I do not expect anybody, not anybody in the world, not anybody within the sound of my voice here to make 93% on that trade. As a matter of fact, I don't even expect you to make 90%. Not even 80, 70, 60, 50. But you know what? I do expect you, after your training with me, I do expect you to make at least 10% on a day like today. At least 10%. There is nobody here. I'm just looking at the list. We have a lot of people on the list here. We have a lot of people on the list. And we have a lot of people. And I mean, I know some of these names. I recognize some of these names. Obviously, clearly, I don't know all the names, but I do know a lot of the names, and there's probably nobody here that cannot take 10% out of the stock market in options trading on a day like today. Obviously, I say that loosely because I don't know everybody, right? So that said, especially the women, welcome women, and I say that very respectfully because women statistically make better traders. That's really exciting to me. So there you go. In fact, I'll tell you the hierarchy. They did studies on this stuff. Well, they did studies on everything. Women with no male influence. So single women make the best traders. Then women who are married. And then it's the married men. And then it's the single guys. The young single guys, they are the worst traders. So maybe it's something with the hormones. I don't know. Anyway, what do you want to do here? Options or stocks? I think once you go with options, you never go back. Okay. The power of options. That is the power of options trading. How you can benefit. Folks, I'm going to tell you, it's a three-step process. A three-step process. Number one, it's all in the training. It's all in the training. And with the training, what I'm referring to here is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to get back to that in just a little bit. Number two, I really need you and I want you to join the inner circle. And I'll tell you why in a little bit too as well. And number three, I'm going to invite you, if you are serious, I too will be serious. And I will commit 20 minutes of my time to talk to you one-on-one. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm very busy, okay? But I have no problem, all right, spending a little bit of time with you to discuss how we can actually design a custom program for you if that is, in fact, what you want to do. You don't have to have the one-on-one, okay? Jimmy, he never had the one-on-one. In fact, it was, I believe, May 2014, out of the blue, Jimmy came and bought the whole thing. Jimmy, if you're still there, I don't know what you paid. I'm so sorry. You paid a fortune.
I started out with $5,000. I put about $2,200 into my training. The rest I put in my account to start up as my seed money, and I started small, just 2 or 3 or 4 contracts at a time. Maybe $400 to $800 on a trade, maybe sometimes $1,000. But I started small, and I encourage everybody to do that too, and do your paper trading first after you've completed the training, till you've got some winning trades in a row practicing with paper money. So, but I did buy everything, and it's the best investment I ever made. Absolutely.
Good to hear that, Jimmy. Thank you so much. All right. So, training inner circle brief one-on-one meeting. Let me give you some details on this. Number one, step one, training. You have to have training because I'm not going to kid you. If you try and piece things together like a puzzle, you're going to lose. Therefore, what I suggest is this. Now, we experimented with this. In fact, we spent a lot of time, a lot of effort and money and everything else trying to find the most efficient way for you to get up to speed to do what we do. And the thing that we had determined was this. You got to take the whole package. I mean, you don't have to, but I really highly recommend you do. The reason is because once you learn everything and everything what we do, what we look for, you become very much at one with what we do. And there's no reason you shouldn't be able to make 5, 10%, 15% per day or per trade in the stock market. Now, what we have coming up here is this. This is actually pretty cool. September. Right, September the 18th, 19th, and 20th, we are going to have our next series of live weekend trading webinars. All right, and the way it works is this. You can go to the website and get the details, but on the Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, we are going to have the beginners webinar. We're going to discuss options versus stocks, the rights, benefits, both, all right, risks and benefits, choosing the right broker, the trading platform. I'll tell you, commissions is not the only thing you need to look for. In fact, there's something even more important, which you're going to learn here. We're going to talk about the importance of logging your trades, keeping great review notes. That's where you're going to actually really shine, okay? You need to know this stuff. And we're also going to spend a lot of time setting up our preferred trading platform, which is TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. Now, I have no vested interest in this company, okay? As a matter of fact, they don't even know I exist. Right? That's how removed I am from this. So it's not like I'm getting some kind of a kickback or anything like that. I recommend them only because they have superior charts and indicators. And I pay the same commissions as anybody else would, which, by the way, is pretty expensive, I think. And there are cheaper platforms out there, and I'll tell you about those when you do the training as well. So a lot of people, what they do is they will have, they'll look at the charts. I still trade Thinkorswim only because if I'm going to use their charts, I'm going to also patronize them, and I have no problem with that. So that's the beginners session. On Saturday, we're going to have two sessions, the intermediate 1 and the intermediate 2. And this is where it gets really kind of cool with the, showing you the technical things that we look at. Now, I want to mention at this point, we are going to fast track here. We're not going to teach you everything about candlestick reading or everything about chart patterns and things like that. There are a lot of different courses. You can spend thousands of dollars on that if that's really what you want to do. But we're only going to teach you those things that we use ourselves. Those very, very particular things, 2 or 3 chart patterns, 4 chart patterns that we might, we might invoke here. We're only going to teach you how to read the candlesticks in a certain way so that you're not going to waste your time and get confused. And, we're not going to learn all about that other junk out there. There's going to be no Elliott waves. There's not going to be any of the, what's it called, the Fibonacci. You're not going to learn any of that stuff here. If you want to know that stuff, you got to go elsewhere. You're going to learn, you're going to be fast-tracked to success, folks. You're going to be fast-tracked. As a matter of fact, I will probably tell you, forget all that other junk. All right? I have this line open right here, the questions box. I am really curious to see if anybody's ever made any money trading Fibonacci or Elliott waves or Bollinger Bands or any of that wonderful stuff on a consistent basis where you made a ton of money. Please, please, please let me know. All right, so that's the intermediate 1 and 2. We actually had that as one webinar at one time. Then we had to split it up because it's just so fast. Each of these webinars is going to be 2 hours in length. They're recorded. You're going to have access to them for 3 months, at least 3 months. And the beauty of the recording is that you can pause, fast forward, and rewind. You can view it as many times as you want. Now, Sunday, we're going to have the advanced session where you are going to master our signature bread and butter strategy for daily gains of 5 to 10%. You're also going to learn about a proprietary launchpad and batter's box. These are software tools that we have developed. You do not need to know those to make your 5, 10%. The bread and butter strategy will give you that. If you want to make more money, then you can engage with the launchpad and the batter's box if you want. We'll also talk a lot about the psychology of trading, learning to control your emotions. The first thing you're going to learn here is that the stock market is not your enemy. The enemy is the person in the mirror. We're going to show you that. We're also going to commit you to a trading plan where you're going to earn that 5% per day. Very easy. And then later on Sunday, we're going to come back for another session, a Q&A session. Bring your own particular questions for review. We'll also discuss penny stocks, because here's what's going to happen, especially for you new people. You are going to find yourselves on some lists, and then these people are going to be emailing you things like, oh my gosh, we got a cure for cancer. You got to get on this new drug. Hair loss. We're gonna talk about this new thing for hair loss. Oh my gosh, this is the next Google. It's gonna go from $5 to $500 in no time. Get it on this penny stock. We're gonna teach you why that's a load of garbage and why you absolutely must stay away from that. Find out where that delete button is on your computer. Whenever you get one of these emails, please, all right, delete, delete, delete. Also, you're gonna learn about fixing your trades, repairing trades gone bad. If anybody ever tells you they never lose, they are lying to you. All right, they are lying to you. All traders lose from time to time. Sometimes not that often, but all traders will lose. And sometimes you just need to know how to fix trades, because most of them can be fixed. So we teach you all that. And of course, anything else that you want to discuss. It's going to be your forum. Also, the next steps you need for your success on the stock market. I should also mention we also do one-on-ones. I do have some personal one-on-one training sessions that I do at your convenience, and you can again get into this on your own, because I can spend all night here on this webinar, this website. So I want to teach you that those are those sessions coming up. All right, training. By the way, I should also mention to you that we also have ebooks, and for those of you who've been asking, the newly revised ebooks for 2015 are hot off the press. They are right here. There's about 9 or 10 ebooks. Of course, the introduction to trading, you got that for free probably. If not, let me know. I'll get that to you. The bread and butter strategy, all right? Again, go to the website, estockoptiontrading.com, under products and services, scroll down to Hugh's ebooks, and just click on any of these bars, and the descriptions come up, and you can read more about what they're all about. Each of these ebooks is very, very focused. For example, right here, 3 solid entry points. When you master when to actually enter the trade, you're never going to be at a loss again. All right, you're going to know exactly when to get in. And that's the coolest thing, because so many people, they don't know when to get in. And then, of course, they get in, and the trend is at the end, and then you lose, and you wonder what happened. This gets you in at the beginning or midstream into the trend. All right, each of these ebooks is very concise. There's no fluff. There's no material that is filler. All right, it's very much to the point. It's not, it does not have a weight test that, well, we have to have 100 pages on this thing, otherwise people are going to think it's not worth anything. You'll find that most of them are a pretty good read. You could probably read them in one night, each of them. A lot of graphics. Okay, very pertinent. The examples, everything else. Here it is, repairing trades gone bad. Each ebook is $149. As is the each webinar that I just talked about, $149. So here's solid gold. Here's options trading. It's all in your head. This talks about the psychology of trading. And by the way, once you master and wrestle down your fear, greed, and ego, let me tell you, the money just kind of like flows into your account. Back to the training. The training, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get this. You're going to get the invite to our September's live webinars. In addition, if you actually subscribe, or rather purchase this course now, you are also going to get the links to our last series of sessions that we had, which was only in April. Now, the examples and everything, they're still very valid. There's nothing wrong with them. So you're actually going to get kind of like 2-for-1 deal on that. You'll also get the entire ebook collection. Once again, they are all the latest ebooks. You're going to get those. You're also going to get a one-on-one session with me to be used anytime in the next 6 months. All right. You're also going to get the interactive trading plan, which is going to take your $1,000 and turn it into $100,000 in 8 months. In 8 months. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. You're also going to get full email support for any quick questions. Now, if you were to purchase this separately, it'll cost you over $2,100. But you can buy here for $1,500. $1,500 all on PayPal. If you don't have the money, or you don't want to spend your own money, click on this box here and get the information on PayPal credit. They have an amazing plan where they have no payments and no interest if paid in full in 6 months. Why not do that's on anything over $99? So you can even get that for the individual sessions if you want. I've got some folks doing that. They buy the all the webinars, right? $745, so they buy it on PayPal. But better yet, buy the entire package for $1,500. Make that commitment to yourself, make the commitment to your family and everybody. Hey, listen, for the next little while, I am going to learn this stuff. I'm going to master it. I'm going to become an expert options trader. Okay. So do what a lot of people do. They buy the PayPal. They get into the PayPal credit. Okay. Then what they do is they trade. They make their money. They pay PayPal back. So essentially, get the course for free because they paid PayPal back. It's not free, but you know what I'm saying. They had no outlay of cash. So they took their cash and actually traded the cash. It's not that difficult, folks. It's really not that difficult. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Training, once again, webinars, ebooks. I think there's probably 9 or 10 ebooks here. Okay, I'll make sure you get at least 10 things. So don't worry about that. And by the way, I don't inundate you with all this material. Jimmy, are you still there? I don't know if he's still on or not. He may still be. I don't know. I think he had to leave. But I remember Jimmy was telling me about this one course.
Yep, I'm here.
I hate to open up these old wounds, Jimmy. I really hate to open up old wounds, but we got a lot of people online. Is your wife around?
No.
Good. Sorry. Carmen's a nice lady, but I don't want her to be subjected to this next little bit I'm going to tell you. Jimmy, tell us about that $10,000 course you took and what you got for it.
I got a gunny sack full of books, a couple of phone calls, and that was $10,000. Of course, that was before I met Hugh, and wish I had that in my trading account today. Folks, I'm here to tell you that what he's offering is absolutely golden. And for $1,500, my goodness, it's a way to create a lifestyle for yourself that maybe it's a few extra $100 a week you want. Maybe you want that $1 million. It is attainable. Now, I do have to tell you that I bought some of Hugh's private time, too, so I could just be one-on-one. So he has that option for you, too, which I fully took advantage of and suggest that you do the same. You need the whole package. Don't piecemeal it. You'll shortchange yourself, and you need to know his theology and how he trades. And you can't do that unless you have all the pieces of the puzzle. Best thing I ever did.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Jimmy. All right. I got a question here. There's a gentleman here. His name is Lloyd. Lloyd G. I'm just while you were talking here, is asking Lloyd, stick around for a bit here. He's been reading some of his comments here. First of all, day trading requires $25,000 in an account. That is true, but there are ways around that. Lloyd, I'm going to tell you, first of all, there's a way around that. You do not need that. Absolutely, you do not need that. What you do is you ask your broker for a cash.
I didn't start with $25,000.
Oh, no.
Remember, I only started with about $2,600 in my trading account.
Absolutely.
And you can build up to that. You don't have to.
That's right. So I mean, and we teach you this stuff. So I'll tell you right now, here's a tip. Go to your broker. Now, they don't like to do this, and I'll tell you why. It's because brokers, they actually make their money. You think they make it on commission, but the real money they make is on lending you the money to buy equity. It's called margin. So when they margin you, that's where they make the real money because they're lending you the money. So if you ask your broker for a cash account, you don't need that. You're not under that $25,000 rule. What that is, ladies and gentlemen, is this. In fact, I'm going to show you this. On the website here, Estockoptiontrading.com, there's a little, there's all kinds of tabs over here. And again, we can get into this all night. Go into the About Us, go down to Trading FAQs. Trading FAQs, scroll down, I think it's number 19 or something here that talks about that. No, it's not 19. Here it is, number 20. What about the 25K rule? All right, if you are in the United States, you are under this rule. What that says is you are only allowed 3 round-trip trades in a 5-day period if you have less than $25,000 in your trading account. All right. If you violate this, they don't call you and say, hey, Frank, you violated this. Don't do it again. Jimmy, I'm just going to, there's a little bit of feedback that's coming here, Jimmy. I'm just going to have to mute you for a sec, okay, buddy? I hate to do that to you, but it's just kind of it's in everybody's ears. So just hang on, Jimmy. What that is you're only allowed to make these 3 round-trip trades in and out 3 times in a 5-day period. But if you insist with your broker, say, I do want a cash account, do you want to give it to me or should I go somewhere else? They usually will bend with you on that, even though they don't like to do it. What a cash account does is this. It does not enable you to have margin. But with what we do, you don't need margin. You will not be using margin. So it's okay. It's okay not to have margin. Now, you do have to wait for your trades to what they call settle. All right, and I think it's 2 days, or maybe it's the next day now. I can't remember now. Somebody did tell me something about the next day they settled. Used to be 3 days. What that means is, let's say you start with $1,000 and you made $100 profit. Well, until the trade settles, you can still only trade your $1,000. All right, now once your trade settles, then you can trade the $1,100. So you have to wait a day or 2 until that happens. Then you can trade up your profits. You might want to check with your particular broker on that. I think some of them may have different policies on that, but that's kind of the rule on that. Now, the other thing, what some people also do with the 25K rule, they actually do trade every day. What they do is they open up 2 or 3 different accounts. So then they just rotate around. They'll trade Thinkorswim one day. They'll trade Options House another day. They'll trade TradeStation another day. And then by the time the 4th day rolls around, they're back with Thinkorswim. So this keeps them, rotating here and under that rule. All right. Now, if you're outside of the United States, if you're in Canada, UK, Australia, anywhere else outside the US, that 25K rule does not apply to you. So you can trade to your heart's content. Okay. Now, the other thing here, Lloyd's is asking here, use TOS, also in interactive brokers, another good trade. He says, it sounds too much like a sales pitch. I will tell you right up here, right up front, folks, that's what we're doing here. This is an introduction to trading, and we teach you. All right, if you're thinking that I'm going to tell you the strategy, exactly what I do, I'll tell you a little bit, okay? I'll tell you a little bit. Don't go too far. But yes, we are actually selling a course. That's what we do, okay? The reason is because we don't want to give it for free. Because number one, it took us a long time, a lot of money, a lot of losses, a lot of effort, a lot of everything to develop this. We're not about to just give it away. Number two, if we gave it to you, you would still lose because you would not give it the respect that it deserves, and therefore you're not going to do what you're supposed to do. If you have no skin in the game, all right, you're not going to do what you have to do. So we actually insist that you have skin in the game. Do we absolutely have to have your $1,500? No, I don't need to. I can do this for free. I can give it to you for free. But why would I do that? You're not going to do it. As a matter of fact, I have proof of that. One of my best friends, his name is Neil. Let me see if he's on. I don't think he's on right now. As a matter of fact, he's one of my best friends, and he's a CPA. Right? So he's very well versed with dollars and cents and numbers. He loves numbers. In fact, his degree is in math. I mean, who do you know has a master's in math? Neil does. But anyway, I had him tag on to everything for free. He's my best friend. Okay, so I'll have him tag on. What am I going to charge him? Come on, get real. So, and then he couldn't do it. He didn't do it. And he'd hum and haw, well, this and that, and he never did it. The reason is because I knew exactly why, and I told him. I said, I know why. It's because I didn't charge you. If I would have charged you, you'd have taken it seriously, and you would have actually committed to doing it, and you'd be making a lot of money right now. Okay, anyway, all that said, let's move on. Okay. All right, you get a coaching session with me, folks, and you also get the trading plan, the log. By the way, I'm going to be working with you here. All right, I don't just hand all this stuff off to you and then say good luck to you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be all over you and making sure that you're going to be doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, so you get full email support, and very often, and a lot of people can attest to this, that if if I get some time, I might dig out somebody and say, hey, how are you doing? If they say, well, I'm struggling with this, struggling with that, it's okay, I got 15, 20 minutes. Let's have a session. This one's on me. So this is what you get. And this, folks, like I mentioned, is $1,500, all on PayPal. PayPal financing is available. Next thing I want to tell you, next step number two, the inner circle. I really want you to join the inner circle, and here is why. Let me just find it. Okay, where did it go? Inner circle. I had it up here. Oh, let's just go in member login right here. Inner circle is this, right here. Okay. Every morning at 9:20 Eastern Time, I post my proposed trades, what I'm looking to trade. Very easy, just a couple paragraphs. Now, you might see it as a couple paragraphs, but I want you to understand this is a culmination of many years, a lot of money, a lot of effort as to me deciding at this time right here, 9:04 this morning, as to which way I thought the trades are going to go. And right here I said moved up pretty nicely, blah, blah, blah. It could hit the lower, all right, lower 210s before the end of the day. This is what my take was on SPY this morning. It could hit the lower 210s before the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what SPY did today. Let me just pull it up. All right, lower 210s. Let me see, at what point did I actually, well, right around here, about 10:20 something. All right, that's when I actually hit my target. Actually, even before that, 9:49. And it went, of course, much higher. So we did hit a high of 210.80. So I would say that I was probably right on that. Now, here's the other thing I do with the inner circle. All right, and I tell you what I'm going to trade. I tell you what I'm looking to trade. I'm interested in next week's SPY 209.50 or 210 calls for a modest 6% profit. Again, if you're new to trading and you don't understand this, do not worry about it. You're not missing out on anything. Okay, one strategy. That's all we do. One strategy. You don't have to know everything, because there's so much money to be made on this one strategy. A number of times a day, just get in, make your money, get out. You don't have to do one trade a day. You can do many trades a day. I just choose to do one trade a day. Here's also the other thing I do. In my final results, I just post a very brief as to what I actually did. And today I actually placed two trades. I did two trades. The first, I picked up 6.7% in 4 minutes on the 210 calls, followed by another 9% on the same options. That one lasted 72 minutes, an hour and 12 minutes. Total for the day, 15.7%. You don't believe me? Here's the screenshot of my actual trade right here. Screenshot of my actual trade. Here's the times and everything else right here. This is taken off Thinkorswim. And those people on live trading, we do live trading every Tuesday and Thursday morning, 9:20 to 11 o'clock Eastern time. And you are welcome to join us on that. It is a subscription service. And you can get that. And once again, go under products and services, scroll down to subscriptions. You can find all the details on that. I'm not going to tell you about that now. I'm just telling you about the inner circle. Okay? Just going on the
That's where I go every morning. First thing is the inner circle, because I want to see what your sentiment is about the market. That's the first place I go, is to the inner circle. Well worth it.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. A couple other things I want to mention about the inner circle. Number one, every Thursday night we have our cocktail hour webinars. These are where you sit back and kind of kick back and just discuss whatever you want to talk about. And people email me during the week. We talk about that. If there's any particular issues that you're facing, we talk about that. Whatever it is, we bring in other people. We bring in other members, and we discuss how things are going. And it's really very informative, very educational. It's very entertaining, and we have a lot of fun too. I also post something here. What's about the week to come? And now, admittedly, this will apply to next week as well. I didn't have a chance to do it this weekend because I had some computer issues, but this also applies to next week as well. So we get the Thursday night cocktail hours. By the way, if you missed them, not a problem, because we have them archived. You can go back here and actually view them. So just click on to view. So here's what it looks like. You just click this, and guess what happens?
Here's talk about that because that's not part of it, folks.
This is it. It comes up, and this went for about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour. All right, there it is, a little more than an hour. And so we talk about whatever it is that the issues of the day right here. So you can go back and see them. Now, we do have something I want to tell you about the cocktail hour. Last Thursday, I didn't have an opportunity to do it only because my computer crashed and I had to get it fixed. Therefore, last week's cocktail hour will be actually, I think it's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is when we're going to be doing that, and that's going to be at 9 o'clock. So, but normally it's every Thursday night. So the inner circle, you get the morning proposed trade, follow-up report, Thursday night webinars. They are archived. You get also email support. Folks, $79 a month, really? Cup of coffee a day? You don't think it's worth that? Seriously? The reason I keep it at $79 is because of this. This is what I started out with years ago. So I'm just kind of keeping it at that, just for, I don't know why. But I did not raise that to what it should be. And it should be much, much more than that. But I just kept it for that, just to kind of get people to come on in, test it out, right? I understand trading is not for everybody, or our style is not for everybody, but this might be just what you need. $79 a month. Now, if you don't like it, doesn't matter. Cut out. All right, you can cut out. First week is free. So what you do is you simply go to the website, all right, estockoptiontrading.com, And what you do is simply go to this tab right here that says Inner Circle up at the top. Scroll down and subscribe right there with PayPal. PayPal does not charge you for 7 days. You get absolutely nothing for 7 days. Check it out. If you like it, stay, and then PayPal will charge you. If you don't like it, just cancel. No charges, no questions asked, nothing. So I mean, I can't get any easier than that. That's step number 2. Now the reason for the inner circle is this. Another reason is this. Because the market is a very dynamic being, all right, so it's an animal, it's always changing, all right, it keeps you in the loop because we're a bit of a repository for information, so we're able to pass that on to you. Whenever there are changes in the market, we send that off to you. So that's really kind of cool, all right. So that's why you need to have somebody who's actually a little more attuned to the market than perhaps you might be, and that's the reason, another great reason to be a member of the inner circle. Step number 3, very easy. Brief one-on-one meetings, custom designed for your trading program, your situation. We understand not everybody's going to be a neophyte. Not everybody's going to be a novice. Some people are going to be very experienced, and maybe you don't need everything, but let's talk. Let's talk. So what I suggest to do is this. Go to the website. Go to the website, Estockoptiontrading.com. Here it is, the home page. I know I'm talking too fast here tonight, but I've got a lot of ground to cover. Go down to the home page and scroll down here to this green button right here. It says book your one-on-one now. This is a free, brief, go-to-meeting chat with me as to your particular, your particular situation. Let's address it and see perhaps maybe there's something we can do. Whether it's just maybe an ebook that you need or a couple of sessions, one-on-ones, or the whole gambit as far as the training or whatever it is. Maybe you just want to come on live training for a couple of sessions and see how it goes. Set your time zone, all right here. It's defaulted to Eastern time zone. Excuse me. Set the time zone, and for the next couple of weeks, right there where it's highlighted, you can just click on that, and these are the times available. Here it is, Thursday the 13th. I've got 5 and 6. I've got a nice afternoon open here on the 14th. Weekends are also not bad, depending, of course, on what I'm doing here. But they do fill up. I will admit they do fill up. So by all means, just check it out. And and then you book. Okay, so you simply click on this, and then you would book it. And here's the cool thing about it: when you book, all right, you are also going to get the go-to-meeting link. So, and I believe it also will insert itself into your calendar. But you just make sure you write it down and get there early. Bring a nice, working microphone, speakers, get all set up nicely, and then we're all set to go. Bring your questions, all right? Because let's not waste this time. And then we're going to move forward. All right, folks, that's how easy we are making it for you. And the next step is certainly up to you. Self-schedule your appointment from the website. Big question, would you like to join us? Okay. If you have any other questions here, bring them on. And that is the end of the formal part of this discussion. So if you have any other questions or anything we can discuss, I'd be happy to take them on here. Let's stick around for a few minutes. All right. Okay, about showing us at least one strategy so I can decide if I want in. Another question here. James W. is asking if it's recorded. Yes, it is recorded. Strategy. Again, the strategy, I think I mentioned the strategy, one strategy that we have. It's called the bread and butter strategy, and that's what we teach you. And it's going to take approximately 10 hours of webinar time to teach you the one strategy. I'm not going to give you the strategy here. Why would I do that? Because there's a lot involved. If I was to even tell you the strategy right here, I would be doing you a disservice because I wouldn't be giving you the entire thing. See, tomorrow morning you're going to go out and do it, and you might be like, you might be okay. You might do well with it, and maybe the next day and the next day, and then one day it's not going to work. You're going to say it doesn't work. I lost a lot of money on the strategy, and I'll say, well, that's because you didn't know this, and that, right? You didn't cover everything. Whereas if you train, you learn everything, then you will know everything that you need to know to have consistent gains of 5 to 10%. Okay, so anybody can have a home run once in a while. Everybody can make a 5-10%, but the consistency is the key, and that's what we teach you. So we teach you a lot of that stuff. All right, any other questions here? Of course, the question that comes up all the time: if you're making all your money trading, why would you bother training? That's actually a really good question. Question is, why would I bother training people if I'm already making money doing this? That's actually such a great question, and I love it. The reason is because of this. if I'm trading approximately, say, an hour a day, I'm spending in front of the computer here trading and actually making money trading, what am I going to do with the rest of my time? Everybody has to have some purpose in life. Everybody has to get up and for a reason to get up in the morning. I mean, I can only be on permanent vacation so long. All right. Even, we take cruises and I met Jimmy on a cruise. But Jimmy, I'm going to be honest with you. After a week, I'm ready to get off the cruise. Okay.
So was I.
I
So was
can't.
I.
I can't handle that more than a week. You know.
This would be the third one coming up, if all goes well, that I will have been on. And actually, I paid for my cruise on the cruise when we had our training sessions.
Yeah, we did live training on the cruise. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We had a nice internet connection. We did some trading and training. And I remember when you jumped up, I just paid for the cruise. And by the way, Jimmy, if I recall, you had a really nice junior suite. That was a very expensive suite. You did not have some inside cabin by the engine room.
No, not hardly. No, my bride wouldn't go for that. Her idea of a weekend roughing it is a weekend at the Holiday Inn. So
Yeah.
I promised her if I made 50% that first year, I would upgrade us to what they call the junior suite, second to the largest, and that's what I did, and she loved it.
There you go. Absolutely true. Right in behind the cabins quarters, from what I understand. Beautiful. All right, now I get another question here. Any other ETFs like the Qs, IWM, or 2x, 3x leverage? Pete's asking this one here. Pete C. Good question. What we trade is SPY, the S&P. It's an exchange traded fund. There are other exchange traded funds. There are the Qs, which are predominantly the high tech, the tech high tech stuff, the techs. Um, Apple's going to be in here. All your Microsofts, all those guys are going to be in here. IWM is the Russell. IWM. This is the IWM. See the different chart patterns here. I don't know if you've been sort of watching this here. Let me go through this again here. In fact, let me just pull this up here. Let's do these three. Let's do four. We have four charts right here, folks. We have four charts. IWM is the first. Actually, let's make this one SPY, because this is the one that we trade, SPY. The next one I'm going to show you is IWM. Okay. And these are going to be, and here is, I'm going to do this one here is going to be the Qs. Just to compare. And number 4 is going to be diamonds. Now let's do, let me see, let's do just for fun.
Why bother?
I know. What? I'm just trying to compare.
Become good at one thing.
Exactly true. I mean, that is so true. Get good at one thing.
Can't be a slave to too many masters.
I'm just trying to show people, some of the stuff. I mean, well, let me go with some of these style settings. I shouldn't even really bother with this here, but just to be consistent, I don't want to keep anybody. Okay, what did I do here? Style settings, equities. Get that box out of there. Get this box out of here. Give me about.
I'm not scolding you. I'm just stating a fact that
I get it. Totally.
We don't need anything else. We got everything we need. Everything is right there in SPY.
And that's my point. When it's like you lose your car keys. You look for your car keys. You find your car keys. You still keep looking for your car keys. Take a look every day. These are 15-minute charts. 15-minute charts of what happened today on each of these 4 exchange traded funds. Now, yes, generally we have some upward movement here, but some of these movements are, I guess, maybe this one and this one might be kind of together. The 2 middle ones here, I would say that's the only similarity, if you want to even call it. They're not really similar. In fact, not at all. They're similar. It went up, down, and then went up and came down again. This one here it's got some more swings in it. So, we're not going to look at all these, and why would you want to? It's only going to be confusing. It's crazy to look on. Just get good at one really cool strategy that's going to deliver you money every day. You will not be, you'll be amazed. You'll be absolutely amazed at how much simpler your life is going to become. Have you ever been in any of these courses? They say make sure you do your scans the night before. You go through hundreds or thousands. You go through, you know, and with all due respect, there's some good programs out there, I'm sure. You know, and they will analyze. Most people don't even know what to look for when they analyze something. What are you going to look for when you analyze? What is it that you're looking for? Where the market has been? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a big difference between us and everybody else. Everybody else, at least everybody else that I know of, I've been to a lot of them, and Jimmy, you have to, they all look at and see where the market has been, and then they try and somehow, you know, think that it's going to continue where it's been. Whereas we look at forward, you know, we're forward looking. Where's the market going? Jimmy, how many times on my inner circle, you know, the market's tanking, and I say I'm going long, I'm going up. And when you know it, you know, market opens, and at some point it went back up, and I made my money. And people say, how did
Just
you know
about
that?
every day. If you're not already in a winning trade,
Exactly.
I've seen you jump in. I've seen Bob jump in, the professional traders in the live trading room, and uh, they all have their own styles. I don't necessarily, after 15 months, go along with everything that the other professionals have to say. That's what's so unique about this. I'm good at one thing, and I like what I do, and I trade when I want to, and I don't trade when I don't want to.
And as I
Very
understand
simple.
it, you're making a lot of money. You paid off your Lexus. You paid. You're paying off your mortgage. I'm not sure how that's going, but.
Yeah, yeah.
Diarani, she's another one online. Oh my gosh, Diarani, good evening. Welcome. We met Diarani on a cruise the last time too. She's asking, how do I get a recording of tonight's webinar? You should get a copy. I think you register. You should be receiving a copy of it. Let me know if you don't, because that's kind of beyond me. See, what happens is it goes to go to webinar, and we upload it, and then they distribute it to everybody. So, but I'm assuming that actually happens. So. But if you don't have it, let me know and I will get it to you. So,
And thanks for the kind words, Diarani.
yeah,
See you in the next. Everybody, come on in. The water's just fine.
yeah, it truly is, and we have a lot of fun too. This is not just you know, it's just not something that we're just, you know, doing without you know, without any thought. We got a lot of fun. We met some great people. We're making money. I would say I don't know how many people. We have people from all walks of life. We have people from all walks of life. Everybody is. Um, I mean, we have doctors. I'll tell you. You don't want to know if you're in company here. Okay, we have doctors. We have lawyers. Obviously, we have lawyers. We have
Ball
professional
players.
traders, hedge fund managers. I have nurses. I had a truck driver. He's now making his own waves. He's just doing really well. He hasn't been on in a while. I have pilots. As a matter of fact, I've got my good buddy Chris. Chris, good evening, Chris. Hello, are you there, Chris? I got your microphone open here. How are you doing, Chris?
Hugh, how are you doing? I'm doing fine.
Folks, let me tell you a story about Chris here. He's a pilot. He's a pilot for celebrities, private jets. This gentleman, I kid you not, he called me outside. I want to come and take you guys out for dinner. Chris, where'd you fly from? Dallas, Texas?
Dallas.
Dallas to Buffalo? Take me out for dinner? Hey, listen, you're gonna make this trip. You're gonna fly your jet, what is it, a Gulfstream? I forget. I think it's a Gulfstream, right? uh, you know, so I refuse to let you buy the dinner.
Yeah, it was a great dinner that we had. You know, for folks out there, when I went through the training and looked at the value of the cost of the training for what you could get, 5 to 8% per day, what these gentlemen are teaching, I was extremely impressed. But I'm old school, and I have to put eyes on them. So I'm like, I need to see these guys. I need to meet them. And so that gave me good confirmation that I was comfortable going forward, and it's been a very good experience so far.
That's great, Chris. It's so nice to see you there. So nice to meet you. I got to tell you, yeah, as a fellow pilot, we used to joke all the time. Well, let's go for that $100 hamburger. You fly to another airport and you have a hamburger and stuff, and that's kind of the way you call it. But I'd like to say, really, for Chris, this was probably I don't know, a $10,000, $20,000 flight or something, whatever it was. It's not cheap to put those babies in the air. So, Chris, it's always a pleasure. So I'll talk to you later. And
Thank you.
all right, and with that, folks, it's 9/11. Any other questions here? Is the webinar available on YouTube? All right, I've got Alex here asking. Alex, do you want to talk here for a few minutes, Alex? Do you have a microphone here? Alexander B. Let me see if he's got a microphone here. I don't know if maybe I can bring him up or not. Hello, Alex. How you doing? You there? Okay, I don't know if he's got a microphone or not. Probably not. Not a problem. Question is this webinar available on YouTube? You know what? It will be. It will be. It will be. So that said, folks, any other questions? Email me, okay? Estockoptiontrading.com. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. It has truly been a pleasure.
Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do, 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 shaboom. Life could be a dream. If I could take you up in paradise up above, and you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and over for me to get boom, boom. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oh, boom, boom, boom. Over the world, life could be a dream. If only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you, life would be a dream, sweetheart. Every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'll be so fine. Oh, life could be a dream. Shaboom, if I could take you up in paradise of a club. Shaboom, you tell me, darling, I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hope for me to get boom, boom, boom. Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Oh, life could be a dream. Shaboom, if I could take you up in paradise up above. Shaboom, and tell me, darling, I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and up for me to get boom, boom, boom. Ding dong, ding dong, life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do, 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 shaboom.